Hello friends, I've put together a short guide on how I farm pure demonic essence in tier 1 maps. I can typically do this in under a minute. And the reason is the Warcry Barbarian is super strong for rushing tier 1 maps because 1, with max block, the skeleton archers that are with the boss don't really hurt as much. 2, we have find item here, which gives us a second chance at getting a PDE. And 3, Enigma is super good on the Warcry Barbarian, which gives us kind of a natural teleport. Makes us get to the boss really fast. So my gear is not perfect by any means, but it gets the job done. And it can be done with a budget build as well. So really our most important stats are you want to get our faster cast rate, FCR, to 105. You want to get all of your resists max, and you want to make sure that you have enough dexterity so that your chance to block is 75%. So I'll give you a quick rundown of my character sheet and my itemization, just to give you an idea of what I'm working with. So right now I'm using a Shaco. It's corrupted with 2 sockets. Our best option here would be a +1 skills Shaco and then puzzle box for 2 sockets, but this isn't bad at all. Just try to get 5% physical damage reduction. For my amulet, I'm using Mara's Kaleidoscope. This is obviously super good. You get the +2 to skills and the resists. Mine's corrupted with 10 faster cast rate, but if you're balling, you can get the +1 skills as long as you get to that 105 faster cast rate. So for my weapon, I'm using Heart of the Oak. This is kind of standard for Warcry Barbarian. And then a Storm Shield corrupted with a 10% faster cast rate. Now this isn't perfect by any means. I'm working on getting one with higher physical damage taken reduced and 10% faster cast rate so I can puzzle box it for some sockets here. And just to keep note here, you can go 2 times Heart of the Oak, which is kind of the standard build if you don't want to do max block. It gives you more health and you do more damage, but for tier 1 boss rushes, the skeleton archers really hurt without that max block, and you kind of have to play safer, so it takes a longer time. Enigma, which I kind of mentioned before, even with the nerf, it's still really good. The charges replenish pretty fast, like 8 seconds goes by pretty quickly. So I really recommend it, but if you can't afford it, go ahead and get Arcane's Valor for your chest, and then put Naja's Staff on your weapon swap for teleport. The downside with this is that you can't have these Alibabas for your weapon switch when you do find item on corpses. So you can see with my 2 Alibabas, my magic find goes up to 549, probably overkill. Even just with my normal gear, it's still 241. So this build is pretty good at magic find, even with kind of good gear on and not specific magic find gear, mostly due to the Shaco with 2 sockets and 2 topazes in it. So for my rings, I'm using a Bull Cathos wedding band with Cannot Be Frozen corruption. What you're going to want to do is have Cannot Be Frozen on one of your items. It doesn't really matter which, just make sure you have it. And then the other ring is really crappy. It's just a 10% faster cast rate ring. I was typically using an SOJ, but as I lose 30% faster cast rate from using a Storm Shield, 20% with the corruption, I had to make it up somewhere else. So this will be replaced with a Stone of Jordan with a 10% faster cast rate if I can ever get one. Boots, I use Water Walk. You have some other options here. You can also use War Traps if you need more magic find, but I like these because it gives a ton of life and it also has the faster block rate for us, which is good. Belt, always Arachnid. There really isn't a replacement for this. I haven't even slammed this because I'm too scared. Try to get as much FCR as you can, but the plus skills is super important for Warcry Barbarian, so that's why we want to use this. And then for the gloves, I'm using Mage Fist, corrupted with additional faster cast rate. And this is basically just for the faster cast rate. If you can get it somewhere else, good, but If not, you're just going to be wanting to use the Mage Fists. And like I said, you can use less expensive gear. Just make sure you hit the stats that we talked about earlier in the video. And so stats. Stats are pretty simple here. Strength, you want to have enough to equip your gear. Dexterity, you want to have enough to get that 75% block chance. And then you just dump the rest into vitality and no points in energy. And the last thing is our merc. So the most important thing to do with the merc is to get yourself a Reaper's Toll. And the reason the Reaper's Toll is so good is because it has a 33% chance to cast amplified damage when you strike. So this will amplify the boss and make it go down super fast. You can get an ethereal one or you can get a regular one. It doesn't really matter. I mean, the ethereal one's obviously better. The more damage, the better. But if you're on a budget, you can just get a regular one. The rest of the gear I have on them is pretty standard. I get a lot of life leech, treachery for the fade, makes them very tanky. Marowak for the cannot be frozen. Some more vitality and physical damage reduction on the Verdungos, and then laying of hands is always good for the increased attack speed and damage to demons. Yeah, so that's the basic setup, and now we'll get into the actual tier 1 boss rush. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a new game so that you guys can see the speed of the clear, and also just to let you guys know what I usually do is I try to get blank tier 1 maps, because when you're farming PDEs, the modifiers don't matter, so we just want to make it as easy as possible, really. And so these plain white tier 1 maps are the way to go. Alright, so let's get into a game. We'll go ahead and pop our map. So the Warcry Barb has a very simple rotation. You want to use Battle Cry to drop down the resistances, the physical resistance, and then you want to just basically use Warcry after that. Very, very simple. Make sure to always keep your buffs up. Battle command, battle orders, your shout, those last for about 300 seconds. So the map boss is in the basic same location every time. You'll get used to like knowing where he is on the map, and you'll be able to find him easier. So you probably hear me clicking here, so I don't know that. Just kind of, my mouse is super loud. So I just do my best to teleport here, dodge all the enemies, just spam down the boss. Your merc may die. That's okay. I try to give him some forward duties. Right before he dies, I like to switch to my Alibabas just for the extra magnifying. So the map drops, and then do not forget to find item the body. You can see we did this in just about 1 minute. Pretty easy. There's really not much to say about it. If you want to farm PDEs, I feel like this is the best class and build to do it in. You get the extra chance at getting the PDEs. You get there fast with the teleport. You're very hard to kill. So yeah, super recommend it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me in-game or on YouTube. My character's name is Chet, C-H-E-T, and I hope you guys enjoyed.